Everyone loves a child celebrity that's cute and talented, and we always hope that they have a long and successful career. But the entertainment industry has a habit of chewing up and spitting out people who were too weak to handle its constant demands and the media's ever-hovering scrutinous eye. What's more, the industry can be especially hazardous for children. They can become exposed to certain adult situations at way too young an age. In such a cutthroat career field, it's no wonder that some child stars find it difficult to thrive. Here are 10 famous child celebrities who ruined their careers. Make sure to watch until the end of the video, because number 1 entry may surprise you. Number 10. Jake Lloyd. Everyone remembers the cherubic little star who played Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars movie franchise. But what you probably don't know is why you don't see Jake Lloyd in more things now that he's grown up. He's had a lot more problems since working on Star Wars. He was subjected to brutal bullying at school while he was still shooting for the movie. The stress got to him so much that he cracked. In 2015, Lloyd was arrested for driving without a license, reckless driving, and resisting arrest. His mother came to his rescue and said that he was schizophrenic and wasn't taking his medication, which she said caused the incident. She said he'd even attacked her a few months earlier as well. In 2016, he was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia and was then taken to a psychiatric facility for treatment. Jake Lloyd is a sobering reminder of the tragedies that can befall child actors and just how fragile they can be. Number 9. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin is one of the most well-known of all American child stars. By the time he was 4, he was already appearing in theatrical performances. By the time he was 10, he was in his most iconic movie, Home Alone. The movie was one of the highest-earning movies of all time, and Culkin was getting paid more than any other actor his age at the time. But there were storms on the horizon for the star as early as 14. His father had mismanaged his money and left him virtually broke. No one would hire him because his father would demand so much money from producers. And when Home Alone 2 came out, people were already speculating that Culkin had already peaked at 14. Macaulay was arrested in 2004. He was in possession of a number of illicit drugs, including 17.3 grams of marijuana, alprazolam, and clonazepam. He pled guilty to 2 possession charges, one for marijuana and one for being in possession of prescription drugs without having a prescription. He got a 1-year deferred sentence apiece for the charges and had to pay $540 in court costs. This all happened as a result of Culkin being the passenger in a car of someone else who was speeding in it. When pulled over, the drugs were found in a black bag that Culkin even offered to open for the officers, so he was being very cooperative. Unfortunately, the media demonized him for the incident. Number 8. Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment is known for his roles in blockbuster movies such as The Sixth Sense, Forrest Gump, and Artificial Intelligence. People thought of him being cute, innocent, a sweet kid, which ended up being a double-edged sword for him. As long as he was a cute kid, he kept getting paid and enjoying the spotlight. But the second it looked like he wasn't as innocent as everyone thought, his career took a hit. 2006, he was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol because he wrecked his car into a brick mailbox and flipped it. He got pretty banged up in the incident, sustaining a fractured shoulder blade, a broken rib, and some cuts and even burns. Later that same year, he was charged with possession of narcotics in a separate incident. He got sentenced to 60 hours in a rehab program, 26 Alcoholics Anonymous meetings in 6 months, 3 years of probation, and got a $1,500 fine. He's still acting, appearing in several movies recently, as well as the FX show What We Do in the Shadows, so maybe things will turn around for him. Number 7. Amanda Bynes. Bynes had been in the entertainment industry since the ripe young age of 7 when she appeared in a commercial, but you're more likely to remember her from the shows she starred in on Nickelodeon, All That and The Amanda Show. But it wasn't long until her life was getting attention for more negative reasons. It all started with a string of motor vehicle accidents in 2012. The first one involved a police vehicle, then in another incident just a month later she grazed another vehicle with her Range Rover, and was then being investigated because of reports of a hit and run. The next year she got charged with reckless endangerment, tampering with evidence, and drug possession. She was originally arrested for drug use in her apartment's lobby because people reported that she threw a bong out her window. The same year, she got in trouble for lighting a fire in someone's driveway and was placed on a psychiatric hold. She went to rehab, got her license back, and appeared to be getting back on the right track until she got put on a psychiatric hold again because she was charged with a DUI. In 2018, People magazine reported that she's reached a happy and healthy place in her life. Let's hope it stays that way. Number 6. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber got his start from videos that his mother recorded of him and posted on YouTube. The world fell in love with the angel-faced crooner. The Canadian-born pop star got his start pretty young. His hit song Baby topped the charts by the time he was 16, but that fame must have got to him. The first warning signs came back in 2013. He He was spotted smoking marijuana in Miami, which wouldn't have been bad by itself, but to do it in the open where he could be photographed doing it was surprising. No charges came from the incident, but he did make a public apology on Saturday Night Live. In March, a group of paparazzi in London were yelling at him. He claimed they were yelling insults at him and proceeded to attack them. Again, no charges. In 2014, Bieber was arrested for participating in what can only be described as a drug and alcohol-fueled drag race around Miami. His blood alcohol level was below the legal limits for someone over the age of 21, but he was only 19. He also had marijuana and Xanax in his system. He was charged with resisting arrest, driving under the influence, and driving using an expired license. He was released on a $2,500 bond the following day, and his mugshot went viral. Less than a week later, he was arrested again. He got in an argument with his limo driver and hit him in the head repeatedly. Cleverly, the driver pulled over and called the police, and Bieber was charged with assault. Not quite a month later, he was charged for vandalizing his neighbor's house. He egged the property and managed to do $20,000 worth of damage while he was on camera. For a while there, Bieber was more well known for his crime spree than he was for his music. Number 5. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is well known for his roles as Louis Stevens on Disney's Evan Stevens, Stanley Yelnats in Holes, and Sam Witwicky in Transformers. But what many people don't know is that he has a long and storied criminal record. In 2005, he got into a really terrifying fight with his neighbor. He first threatened the neighbor with a knife, then said that the neighbor's vehicle was blocking his route to the garage. So he hopped in his car and rammed his neighbor's vehicle with it, as one does. He was arrested again in 2007 for not leaving a Walgreens when security asked him to. He also didn't show up for a court hearing involving the incident and got a $5,000 fine. He was in a serious car accident in 2008, which injured his knee and head, and he had to have 3 surgeries on his hand. He was charged with a DUI and his license was suspended, but it was found that he wasn't responsible for the accident. The other motorist ran a red light and hit LaBeouf's vehicle at 70 miles per hour, which caused it to flip. In 2014, he was charged with disorderly conduct and trespassing on Studio 54. He was spitting, yelling, and cursing at officers the whole way to the station. In 2017, he was detained for public intoxication in Savannah, Georgia. But before being detained, he gave the police the verbal what for and wound up with a $1,000 fine, a year of probation, and anger management classes. He's recently been doing performance art rather than gracing the silver screen. Number 4. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is well known for her childhood appearances in movies such as Disney's The Parent Trap, Freaky Friday, and Mean Girls. But the lifestyle quickly got to her and she began a very public spiral out of control. She began to be spotted at many nightclubs around New York. Then she was arrested twice in 2007. The first arrest was for crashing her Mercedes-Benz convertible right into a tree on Sunset Boulevard while she was under the influence of drugs and alcohol. According to the police, the starlet had nearly twice the legal limit of alcohol in her system as well as cocaine. After that, she had just a whole slew of arrests. Then, in 2008, her much-loved but very secret boyfriend, Heath Ledger, accidentally overdosed on a lethal combination of drugs. Her mother said that effed her up, which was definitely understandable. Finally, in 2015, after completing 125 hours of community service, her probation was lifted, ending a 7-year stint of court dates and probation. We're betting she was glad to be done with that. Number 3. Britney Spears. Britney Spears got her start on the all-new Mickey Mouse Club at the age of 11. In 1999, her first single, Baby One More Time, topped the music charts after the release of the iconic music video for the song. In 2004, she made headlines for her MTV VMA performance of I'm a Slave for You, complete with skimpy outfit and python. That same year, she got married and then had the marriage annulled just a few days later. A few months later, Kevin Federline, who was Britney's backup dancer, left his pregnant girlfriend to marry Britney. The pair had their first child in 2005. A year later, she was spotted driving around a car with her son on her lap, which led to speculation that she may be a questionable parent. She filed for divorce from Federline 2 months after she had her second child with him. After that, she was intermittently spotted at clubs and going in and out of rehab. In 2007, she appeared to have a total breakdown and shaved her head just before checking herself into a treatment facility. She released a single during this time period that wasn't really well received at the time. Then she was charged with a hit and run. As a result, she underwent psychiatric evaluation. In 2008, she released the album Circus, which was a triumphant success. Since then, she's released other albums, collaborated with big-name stars like Iggy Azalea, and became a judge on The X Factor. Number 2. Mara Wilson. Mara Wilson is best known for her classic roles in the movies Mrs. Doubtfire, Miracle on 34th Street, and Matilda, starring alongside Hollywood legends Robin Williams, Danny DeVito, and Rhea Perlman. So why isn't she still a household name? Basically, because people suck. Everyone was so focused on her cute looks as a child that she thought that's all she was. When she entered her teen years, people started making horrible comments about her looks. No one was calling her cute anymore. Instead, her crush called her ugly, and one kid said, "You were Matilda? You've gained some weight since then," which prompted her to cry into a milkshake. She said film reviewers even called her odd-looking. Can you imagine? So she stepped out of the spotlight because the criticism was too harsh for her to handle. She briefly came back in 2016 after she published Where Am I Now? She came out as a bisexual that same year in the wake of a mass shooting at a gay nightclub in Orlando. She got some negative feedback for this, with people saying she was piggybacking off the tragedy for attention. It seems like every time she pops her head up in the industry, she gets hurt. So she does voiceover work and writes. She says, "I do feel now that I'm sort of doing things on my own terms. I'm writing more, I'm putting myself out there more, but it feels much better now. It feels like I'm much more in control." That's such a positive outlook on the situation. Number 1. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was the epitome of teen heartthrob during the 1990s. Whether you know him for being Tim the Tool Man, Taylor's son on Home Improvement, the voice of Simba on The Lion King, or for his roles on the silver screen in I'll Be Home for Christmas or Wild America, if you survived the 90s, you remember JTT. But it's puzzling to many people why his career isn't still booming considering that he was once such a hot commodity. Believe it or not, Jonathan Taylor Thomas is one of the few instances where a star voluntarily left the limelight. The shy introvert was never fond of the attention and said, "I can't tell you how many shows I've done with full-blown migraine headaches. Ouch." So what did he do instead? He studied history and philosophy at Harvard and attended St. Andrews Abroad, where people whispered that he'd take Prince William's title of undisputed heartthrob. He graduated in 2010 from Columbia University's School of General Studies. Since then, he's guest starred in 4 episodes of Last Man Standing and directed 3. He was elected to serve on SAG-AFTRA's national board in 2017. Fellow Home Improvement brother Zachary Ty Bryan said that he and Thomas are working on a project with Macaulay Culkin and that it may come in the form of an R-rated pilot. It would seem that JTT is going to be directing more than acting in the future. That's it for this list. Did any of the entries surprise you? Comment below and let us know. We hope you enjoyed 10 famous child celebrities who ruined their careers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell icon for more top 5 awesome content.